What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube? Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be starting very shortly here. Finishing setting up here. Give me about 2 minutes and we will get things underway. We'll be talking about this right here, which is currently what's going on with the price of Bitcoin, currently sitting at around $63,000. And sell and main go away. Should we do that or should we not? Stay tuned. Seems a 1 to 2 years at max seems to be the sweet spot. Yeah, 18 months seems to be the sweet spot in the Bitcoin halving. To the end, prediction for the Bitcoin price to the end of September. That's just a very random date. For the end of the year, I'm thinking we get somewhere around the $100,000 mark. September, who knows? Anything could happen. But September is about what? 5 months post halving. So it should be, Bitcoin's price should definitely be higher than it is today by September. All right, guys, I'm going live on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch the full breakdown on YouTube, if you guys want to ask questions, whatever it is, jump over on YouTube, Bitcoin Daily. Big inflows from Hong Kong tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what type of inflows Hong Kong is going to be. I definitely do expect some inflows, though. Price prediction for Solana is currently sitting at what, 130, 150, 135. Definitely beyond previous all-time highs. Probably somewhere around, I wouldn't be surprised if we reach somewhere around $500 to $1,000. Maybe a 10x still from where it's currently at. Polygon, I like Polygon. It's not as much as I used to, but I still have a bag of Polygon for the bull run. It's gonna go up. It's not gonna be anything crazy, but Matic will eventually be going up as well. Hive Mapper? No, I have not followed Hive Mapper. All right, guys, I'm going live on YouTube. So if you want to check this full thing, the full live stream, Bitcoin Daily on YouTube, going live right now. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Looking for my face so I can turn it on. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Crypto. Today is Monday. It is about 12:25 p.m., the 29th of April, 2024. And there's a lot of things going on today. A lot of things going on in the crypto world. We have a lot of things coming up this week. This is also the end of the month. It is also the beginning of a new month, which is May. And just like the title says, sell in May and go away. So that's been something that's been somewhat of a narrative, mostly in the stock market. But of course, you know, stock market transitions over to crypto markets as well. So we'll be taking a look at that and kind of analyzing whether that's something that you should even consider doing in 2024. So we'll be doing that today. We'll also be kind of analyzing the price of Bitcoin a little bit. And then I'll be answering your questions, you know, whatever questions you guys might have, I'll be answering those for you. And finally, we'll be talking about a video that I have coming out later this week, probably in the next, I'm thinking probably on Wednesday. I think on Wednesday it should be completely done. The first version of it's already done. It needs some stuff that need changed up, but probably should have it by either later today or maybe tomorrow. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and that's the optimal buy and hold strategy for Bitcoin. So I'm excited to put that one up for you guys as well. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. What's up to everybody that is in the stream? We got Louis in here. We got Giannis. What is going on, everybody? Louis says multi-stream. So I gotta set up my multi-stream. Right now I'm just doing I'm doing the YouTube right now live, and I also have Instagram live on my phone. So those that are on Instagram are probably looking at me as I'm looking up at the camera. If you guys are wondering why I'm looking in another direction, is because I'm looking at the camera. I am live on YouTube right now. Just search Bitcoin Daily on YouTube and you'll be able to see the entire live stream where I can share my charts with you guys. Because on the phone, I can't really do too much for you guys. So let me go ahead and end the live stream on Instagram. Appreciate you guys tuning in. All right. And now let's go ahead and dive in. Let me pull up here. Where is my monitor? Here we go. So here is what we've been looking at, what's been going on in the market. Let's take a look at what the overall market's doing so far in the last 7 days or so. So we see, obviously, if we look here at the last 7 days, there's a lot of red in the market. Bitcoin's down about 5%. Ethereum has actually been doing pretty good. It's been holding up pretty well. Only down about 0.5% in the last 7 days. If we continue down, we see Solana down 12%. We see Doge down 10%. Toncoin down 13%. Cardano down about 12%. Shiba down about 11%. Avalanche down 11%. So a lot of the altcoins are down, right? And, you know, like always, altcoins are always going to be a lot more volatile than Bitcoin and Ethereum overall, right? So when these two move up, altcoins are usually going to outperform these two. But when these two move down, altcoins are going to drop a lot lower. So that's the risk. That's the risk reward that you're taking when jumping into these other altcoins. The drawdowns are going to be much, much worse. If we look here at the top gainers and losers over the last 7 days, you see the top gainer is Helium, up about 45% over the last 7 days. Bonks up about 24%. HBAR up about 15.5% with that news about BlackRock. We also have the Cash Network up about 9% and Wormhole up about 9% as well. BIP is right behind it at 8.5. As far as the top losers, we have Beam down 18.5%, Celestia down 17.8%, Core down 17%, Stacks down 17%, and the Graph down almost 17% as well. So that's pretty much good. That gives us an idea, overall picture of what's going on in the market. Let's take a look at what is happening this week, because this week we do have some impactful events going on in the overall economy. And that main event is going to be on Wednesday, the 1st of May, which is the Fed interest rate decision. Now, the Fed interest rate decision itself, when that comes out, is not too important. Because when that comes out, I think we all know what's going to happen. The Fed rates the interest rates are going to remain unchanged. So that should be a nothing burger, right? Nothing should happen with that. But 30 minutes later, the Fed press conference can bring some volatility into the market, depending what happens. I'm expecting Jerome Powell to potentially be bearish or hawkish, because lately inflation has been once again going back up, and the GDP has not been, which is the overall economy, has not been doing well. So economies has gotten a little bit worse. Inflation has got a little bit worse. So overall, I'm expecting the Fed to be a little bearish with a bearish tone. So that's why this is important, and we have to watch this on Wednesday, because that could overall have an impact on the market when they're speaking. During the press conference, markets could, get a little volatile and potentially drop a bit. Usually, it overreacts to whatever happens during that press conference, and the market recovers right after. But we don't really know. It just depends on what happens and what gets said overall during that press conference. So As long as there's a pause in the interest rates decision, which is what's expected, then I don't think anything big overall is going to happen in the market. So that's pretty much what we're watching this week. We also have the non-farm payrolls that's coming out. That's on Friday. That usually doesn't impact the market overall too much. So not looking too much into that. And then the next big event after that is back in the 15th of May, when we have the inflation rate reports again. So that's not for at least another 2 weeks or so. So the main thing is this Wednesday, the Fed interest rate decision. So we'll see how that impacts the markets overall. So with that said, let's look at Bitcoin and overall what the structure is looking like here, and what we might be seeing. Yeah, and another thing that's in the news before we jump into this, someone just mentioned it here in the comments. I appreciate it. Agree, but Bitcoin ETF coming in many Asian countries and also Australia. Yeah, definitely. So the Bitcoin ETFs are starting trading tomorrow in Hong Kong. So that's something that we need to look out for. And actually, the volume of the music is probably too loud, so I apologize for that. Nobody told me anything. Sorry about that, guys. Let me know how the volume and the sound is, and then we'll go from there. So so we have Bitcoin ETFs coming to the market live in Hong Kong tomorrow. We saw Australia is also bringing Bitcoin ETFs to the market soon. I saw that in the news as well. So it's setting up, guys. It's setting. Things are literally like just falling into place for this bull market, for this bull run. So even though right now some people I know some people are asking, like, why is the bull market so slow? What is going on with the market? Why hasn't Bitcoin taken off after the halving, et cetera, et cetera? Guys, you got to be patient. You got to relax a little bit, right? We've seen it. I've shown you guys over the last few weeks. I have a video coming out this week that's going to break it down a little bit further. I've made Instagram posts. I've made Twitter posts, Threads posts on how Bitcoin's price reacts during this cycle, right? This is the halving cycle. It's a 4-year cycle, right? We've broken it down into... I'll pull up the different phases here. We've broken it down into 5 different phases, right? We have the pre-halving accumulation. Let me pull it up on the screen. We have the pre-halving accumulation, pre-halving rally, pre-halving pullbacks, and the post-halving accumulation. Right now, we're in phase 4, which is a post-halving accumulation, right? In this phase, I'm not expecting any crazy movement from Bitcoin, right? So I'm expecting for at least around, on average, it's been 90 days. It could obviously be more. It could be a little bit less. But on average, 90 days, that's about 3 months. So for the next 3 months, I'm really not expecting too much. I'm expecting Bitcoin to continue its range here, trading within this range, anywhere between $60,000 up to its all-time high, somewhere around 73,000, right? So that's where I'm expecting Bitcoin to remain. I'm not expecting any crazy movement. I know people are looking for this movement right here, right? The post-halving rally movement. I know, trust me, guys, I know that this is what you're looking for. This is what you're waiting for. We're all waiting for this. But guess what? Before this happened, during the last Bitcoin bull run, look at what happened before then. Post-halving accumulation. The same thing, right? Same thing. Look at where we are right now. Post-halving accumulation, right? This is where we're at. This is what happened last time during this same exact time. Look at Bitcoin. It went from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, back to the bottom, and then it started that post-halving rally. We can look even further back, guys. This happens over and over and over. Look at this. What is this? This is the halving day right here. The blue line right here is the halving day. What's this? Post-halving accumulation. Price went up a bit, went back down, then went back up. It traded within this range. It accumulated, right? That's exactly what's going on right now, guys. We're in this range. We're in phase 4. We're in the post-halving accumulation range, which can range anywhere between here. It lasted for 147 days. And then the last Bitcoin bull run, it lasted 70 days. So that gives us an average of about 90 days, right? So like I said, it could be more, it could be less. It's not going to be exactly 90, but that's more or less the numbers, the average that we're expecting. So we're expecting this to fall somewhere around there. And that's why I'm telling you guys, relax, right? Relax. We're in the post-halving accumulation area. This is going to go down. This is going to go up. This is going to go back down and back up. I'm not expecting these massive, massive green candles here. Even if we look here, pre-halving rally, right? Look at all this green. Look at all this green. Guess what? History told us that was going to happen, guys. We spoke about this. Look, pre-halving rally. Look at all this green. You could look back again even further. Pre-halving rally, all this green, right? So, guys, this is all. It's not going to happen exactly, but it's going to be similar. And that's what we're watching. That's how we're kind of predicting what happens next. So over the next 3 months, guys, you're going to have to give it a little time. You're going to have to wait a little bit. You're going to have to be patient because Bitcoin's price is going to accumulate here, right? But eventually, this patience is going to pay off because we're going to get the massive green candles to the upside eventually towards the end of the year, right? So let me answer a few questions. I see Speed Gang says, is this the time to buy? Right? So Speed Gang, we've spoken about this a few times. Last week we actually focused on this. Is it a good time to buy? And this week's video, I'm also going to talk about this, dropping on Wednesday. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss it, because not only do I tell you when to buy, but I'm telling you exactly when to sell based on this historical cycles, on historical data, on historical price performances, right? So to answer your question, is this a good time to buy? I believe that is still a good time to accumulate and be buying Bitcoin over these next 3 months, because the bull run is just getting started. The big move up hasn't even happened yet, right? So it's still a good time. Now the best time to buy was a year ago, right? If not a year ago, but a year after the previous bull run, which was November 2022. That's when FTX bankruptcy and SBF went to jail, all that stuff. When we had that massive move down, that was the best time to buy in the recently, right? Obviously, if you missed that, if you weren't able to get in, that was a scary time to buy. It's never the best times to buy are never never like, oh my God, it's obvious it's a good time to buy. It's always like, if it doesn't feel good to buy, right? When it doesn't feel good to buy, that's usually the best time to buy. But yeah, so 2022, November 2022, that was probably the best time to buy recently. That was the bottom of the bear market. But is now a good time to buy? Now it's probably the next another good time to buy, because like I just showed you guys on the chart, I still believe, right, that, hold on here. I still believe that we're in this accumulation, in the post-halving accumulation area. So we're still good, right? You can still buy here, although you're not going to get the same returns as if you bought down here. I still think you could at least get a double on your money with what you accumulate here. Now, there's different ways to enter, and I don't, Guillaume, I don't know how to say your name, so I appreciate, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. It looks like a Guillermo type of thing, but Guillaume. He said, hard questions. You could DCA. Bitcoin top should be middle 2025. So I don't disagree with that. It is always a hard question to answer, because And the reason why it's a hard question to answer is because we never know what's gonna happen. We can't tell the future, right? Even though I'm giving you these models based on what price has done historically, we really don't know what Bitcoin's gonna do next. You know, even though right now it's a good price at $62,800. If Bitcoin's price drops lower, then that's obviously going to be a better price, right? So what do we do? The best way for us to be able to get in, right, and accumulate at a good average price is to what Guillaume said in the comments there, DCA, which is dollar cost average. So what is dollar cost average? It means that, let's say, for example, if you have $1,000 that you want to buy Bitcoin with, instead of buying right now at 62,875, putting in $1,000, what you would do, you could split it into like 4 different buys, right? So you could buy here at 62,800. Then let's say next week price goes lower to 60. Now you could buy again another 250. Then let's say price goes higher to 65. You buy again at 65, and then finally, you know, finally the price goes to like 63. You buy again. So now instead of your average price being around 62,890, it's the average of your 4 buys. And even though it might be a little bit worse than if you would have just bought here, because we can't tell the future and we don't know if that's what's going to happen, then by dollar cost averaging, it gives us a better shot at finding the best price over the next few weeks, right, in time. So that's the best, safest way to probably do it. When you're wondering when is the best time to buy, and you know the exact price that it's the best, there's no exact moment or exact price to get in. You just kind of have to get into it, and then dollar cost average too. If the price goes lower, you buy a little bit more, right? If it goes higher, you can still buy a little bit more. So it just depends overall, you know, what you're trying to do, how long you're planning to hold for, et cetera, et cetera. If you're buying right now, I would say you're gonna have to plan to leave that money in the market for at least the next 12 to 18 months. If you need this money next month, then I wouldn't encourage buying. I wouldn't say that right now is a good time to buy, because we don't know what's going to happen within the next month. You know, you have to think, you're going to have to be thinking a little bit further into the future, at minimum 6 months, but that's still not going to be optimal. I think you need to, any money that you're going to invest right now has to be long-term range, talking about 12 to 18 months from now. So that's definitely what I recommend there. Sid says, a lot of people doing Bitcoin top analysis. What about Ethereum? Let's talk on Ethereum top or rally. Your thoughts. So yeah, it's a good question. And the reason why most people talk about Bitcoin, including myself, is because Bitcoin is the king in the space, and everything else in cryptocurrency revolves around Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is basically the sun of the crypto universe. Everything else revolves around it. So although Ethereum is doing pretty decent and it's been doing pretty well over the last few weeks, if you actually look at the numbers here, let's look at the numbers here on Bitcoin's year to date. Year to date, it's up. Bitcoin is up 48.6%. Ethereum year to date is up 38.73%. So Bitcoin has been outperforming Ethereum year to date. At the 1 year mark, Ethereum is up about 66%. Bitcoin is up 115%, right? Now, what happens with Ethereum overall is that Ethereum follows Bitcoin mostly, right? So if we look at the chart of Bitcoin, I know there's a lot of drawings on it. Just ignore the drawings. Try to focus only on the candlesticks. See this pattern here, and then look at Ethereum. Ethereum has almost the exact same pattern, right? Almost the same pattern. So that's why when people analyze Bitcoin, the same analysis can really go for Ethereum as well, right? It's almost the same thing. So that's why the majority of people talk more about Bitcoin when doing analysis rather than some of the altcoins like Ethereum, because Ethereum overall is gonna follow Bitcoin. you know. So it kind of goes out the window. It's technical analysis, because when if Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum is gonna go up. If Bitcoin goes down, Ethereum is gonna go down. So the analysis is, it's more important on Bitcoin than it is on Ethereum, since Ethereum for the most part is following Bitcoin. Now, one thing that we have noticed recently in the last year is that Bitcoin is completely outperforming Ethereum, right? Eventually, that's going to change. That's not going to continue this way. So that's one thing to keep in mind right now, is that, remember, Bitcoin is at all-time highs. Ethereum has yet to hit its previous all-time highs. Previous all-time highs for Ethereum was 4875, and Ethereum hit a high so far of 4100 basically. So Ethereum has not hit its all-time high yet, while Bitcoin has already hit its all-time high, and that probably has to do with the Bitcoin ETFs, right? A lot more money is going into Bitcoin than previous cycles. So will Bitcoin continue outperforming Ethereum? I think Ethereum eventually catches up, and when Bitcoin starts hitting new all-time highs, like at 100,000, things like that, I think at that point, you know, Ethereum could potentially also be going towards $10,000, right? So I think my conservative estimate for Ethereum this bull run is probably around $10,000. If we're expecting, and that's going to depend on what you expect Bitcoin to do. If we're expecting Bitcoin to hit, you know, $200,000, then, you know, Ethereum might hit $20,000. But again, because of the ETFs introduced, now there's going to be a lot more money going into Bitcoin that doesn't fall into Ethereum, right? Like before, all the previous halving cycles, you kind of predict how the money cycle was going to go, the money flow. First, it went into Bitcoin. Bitcoin would shoot up. All those profits fell down into Ethereum. Ethereum would shoot up. All those profits fell down into other altcoins, right? I'm interested in seeing how this time around it's going to play out, because it's a little bit different, since there's billions of dollars coming into Bitcoin through its ETF. So, you know, money in its ETF is probably not going to fall into Ethereum until the Ethereum ETF gets approved. Once that gets approved, that's a different ballgame for Ethereum, right? Then we could definitely talk about $20,000 for Ethereum. And we could definitely talk about the money falling from Bitcoin into Ethereum. But right now, you know, Ethereum still has to catch up to Bitcoin. It's being outperformed recently, and it's due to those Bitcoin ETFs. So that's just something to keep in mind, and something that we need to keep watching as things progress in this bull run and bull market, because we don't know, right? The ETF might completely change the way that the money flow works during these bull runs. So since this is a first bull run with Bitcoin ETFs, we're gonna have to see if there's anything different that happens this time around, any different patterns than previously, because previously we can kind of predict it. Now it's it's a little bit different, as you can see. So we're gonna have to kind of take the wait and see approach to see how Ethereum and other altcoins do. But overall, you know, when money comes into the market, eventually it should bring everything else up with it. So yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on Ethereum there. Now, back to Bitcoin. And if you guys have any other questions related to any of this, feel free to ask them in the chat. As I see the comments come in, I'm always happy to answer those questions for you guys. So we just answered, to start the video off, exactly why the market is boring right now, right? We know exactly why it's boring. If you guys are just tuning in, just watch the beginning where I just broke down the halving cycles and why the market is boring right now, because we're in this phase 4 accumulation area, right? Still a good time to buy Bitcoin for those that are wondering. Now, the next thing that people are asking me about is that narrative. Sell in May, and go away, right? That's something that started in the stock market because people saw a pattern in the stock market where from January to May it outperformed, after that, basically, right? June to December or whatever. So that's why this whole thing about sell in May and go away began. And of course, people are bringing it into the crypto market as well. And I mean, some of the data backs it up as well. So if we actually look, let's pull up the numbers here. So right now we're looking at Bitcoin monthly returns in May. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years of data for May for Bitcoin. And out of those 11 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 11 have been read for May, right? Now, again, it says sell in May and go away, right? So it's not really talking about May specifically. It's telling you to sell in May. So, I mean, May hasn't been a good performing month, but that doesn't really matter. What matters more is the returns, right? Quarterly. So we're saying basically what sell in May and go away means is that quarters 1 and 2 are always gonna outperform quarters 3 and 4, right? So let's take a look at that. So in quarters 3 and 4, we have, let's start with quarter 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 11 years has been read. And then quarter 4, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 11 years, right? So in total, that's what? 10 out of 22. Then let's look at quarters 1 and 2. In quarter 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 11. In quarter 2, we have counting. This one doesn't really count yet, so I'm not going to count it. And then this one is 6 out of 12 years because we already finished quarter 1. So without counting this year's, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we have 6 out of 12 and 4 out of 11. That gives us 10 out of 23, right? So it's a little bit better, but not really, because we don't have all the information, right? Now, another thing that we have to take into account is the cycles, right? So the Bitcoin halving cycles, because we have to acknowledge that that's part of what affects the price of Bitcoin, and we've seen it over and over again, right? We've seen this pattern happen over and over again every 4 years. So now let's look at the years of the Bitcoin halving, which is currently what we're experiencing right now. So Bitcoin halving years, it doesn't give us 2012. So we're going to start with 2016, which was the second Bitcoin halving. And we saw quarter 3 minus, it was red, but quarter 4, 58%, right? Then the year post halving, it was every quarter was green there. Now let's look at the third Bitcoin halving, which was 2020. Quarter 3, we have plus 18%. Quarter 4, plus 168%, right? So it's like, okay, so that's interesting. We have 1, 2, 3 out of 4 quarters have been green, right? So that alone already tells you that you should probably not be selling in May. We should probably be sticking around in May during a Bitcoin halving cycle, during a bull run, because there's a 75% chance that we're gonna go up in both next quarter 3 and quarter 4, right? At least that's what it's done historically. Now, once we start looking at more data, then it becomes obvious, right? So now let's pull up the actual Bitcoin halving cycles and like how Bitcoin's price has performed throughout those cycles. So let me see. All right, so starting with this one, 2012, halving day, right? 1 month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later, 18 months later. Green. Bitcoin's price went up throughout all of those, right? That's 2012. That was the first Bitcoin halving. You know, maybe that was too far away. So let's look at one more recent, 2016, the second Bitcoin halving. 1 month later, it was actually negative. 3 months later, it was still in the negative. But what happened 6 months later? Plus 38%. 12 months later, plus 287%. And 18 months later, plus over 2,200%, right? And again, that might be too far from now. Let's look at the most recent Bitcoin halving, the third halving event. 1 month later, plus 12%. 3 months later, plus 34%. 6 months later, plus 78%, right? That would be quarter 3 and 4. 12 months later, plus 541, and 18 months later, plus over 600%. So now that we see in context with what's going on right now, not just sell in May and go away, we're seeing it in the context of the bull cycle, of the bull run, right? Of phases 4 and phases 5. So now that we look at it with that context, it becomes very obvious that you don't want to sell in May and go away at any point in time during this bull run. Not this year and probably not next year either, because as we saw, the rally really begins 6 months after is when we start seeing some sort of a rally, but it really begins 12 months after post-halving. So that 12 to 18 month post-halving range, that's the sweet spot where Bitcoin ends up peaking as far as price. So that's why I tell you guys, even for those even asking, should we buy Bitcoin now? I believe that we're still in this Bitcoin accumulation phase where for the next 3 months, you still have an opportunity to buy in. Even though you're not going to get the best price that you could have got a year ago or 6 months ago, you're still going to get a good price looking forward 6 months from now based on historical data. Now, of course, past results doesn't promise future results, right? History doesn't often repeat, but it often does rhyme. And based on all the historical data that we have to date from all the past halvings, it all points at the same story for the same thing to happen. So what does that mean? That means that that's the highest probability scenario for it to happen in Bitcoin's price is that, right? We've spoken about it before. I still do think there will be diminishing returns, meaning that we're not going to get the crazy returns that we saw in previous halvings, right? Where in 2012, it was like 9,000% return. In 2016, it turned into like over 2,000% return. Last bull run, it was over 600%. So this bull run might be a little bit less. It might be somewhere around, 300%, half of what we saw last time. But 300% is still a big return overall. That's a 3 times return on your money, which is something that you don't see in like the stock market, right? That's not something that's typical. So, and then if you want higher returns, then you could diversify your portfolio with other altcoins like Ethereum and other things like that are more volatile. So when they're more volatile, they're gonna bring more risk, but with more risk means higher reward. So it all depends where you are in your crypto journey, where you are in your portfolio and investments journey on how aggressive you want to be with your portfolio. So for me, for example, if you had for me, for example, I have about 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's like my foundation, right? Then after that, the rest of it is broken down into other major altcoins, new altcoins that are just coming out, kind of gambles, like 1% in meme coins, like 10% used for trading. So like it's broken down into all these different places, right? Where I use to try to make more profits. But that foundation of my portfolio is built on Bitcoin and Ethereum because they're less volatile than everything else, right? So I have that like that. Now, and then it's the same thing that I recommend, depending on your portfolio size. If someone has a portfolio size of $1 million, it's not you're not gonna want to do the same strategy as someone that has a portfolio size as someone with $1,000, right? If you have $1,000, then you're gonna want to be more aggressive with it, right? If you have $1 million, your mind is changing from trying to make profits to preserving capital and preserving the wealth that you've already created, right? So that's how that mind shift works. Depending on your portfolio value is how you should have it diversified. So if you have, $1 million and beyond, then you want a lot of your money in safer, less volatile projects, right? You want the majority of your money probably in Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? I think in a portfolio with Bitcoin and Ethereum mainly, you're still gonna get 3, maybe 4x return in the next 12 to 18 months. So you're talking about, taking $1 million and in 12 to 18 months, potentially having $4 or $5 million. That's massive. That's a massive return in 12 to 18 months with $1 million portfolio. Now, if you have $1,000 and just say you 2-3x, turning $1,000 into $4,000 or $5,000, that's not really a big deal. What are you gonna do with $4,000 or $5,000? It's not life changing. It's cool and it's awesome to build up your portfolio like that, but it's not. You still have a long road to go because your goal ultimately is to get that first $100,000. So if you want to try to you want to be a little bit more aggressive with it, right? So instead of having a lot of Bitcoin, you probably don't want to have any Bitcoin at all, because 1 to 2x for your portfolio is not really going to help. To go from $1,000 to $2,000 or $3,000, it's not going to help. So then you could start looking at Ethereum. Ethereum, it's sitting at about 3,000 right now. I think it could still go to 10,000, right? So that's at least a 3x, potentially 4x. Let's say best case scenario, it goes to 20. What is 20? Let me see, 20 divided by 3,000. That's about a 6x. So you're taking your portfolio from $1,000 to, in a best case scenario with Ethereum, from $1,000 to about $6,000-$7,000. That's pretty good in 12 to 18 months, but again, not really life changing. So what you're really looking to do when you're at that $1,000 mark, you're looking to 10 to 50, 100x. So 10x is probably your minimum. But you really want to be trying to shoot for those 50 to 100x's, because if you 50x $1,000, now you're talking $50,000, and obviously if you 100x it, you're talking $100,000. So, and of course, when you're taking more risk, when you're chasing higher rewards, you're taking more risk, right? So yes, you can lose your $1,000. That could become nothing. So that's another thing with it, right? But ultimately, if you're younger, on the younger side, if you're in the age ranges of 20 to 40, right? 20 to 30 maybe, depending. And you only have $1,000 and you lose that $1,000, you have a lot of time to make that $1,000 back, right? To make that back up. You have not only time, but $1,000 is not that hard to make. You can make $1,000 pretty easily, right? And obviously it's going to be different for everybody, but even online, just doing a side hustle on Fiverr, for example, right? You can easily go on YouTube, learn to make thumbnails, and sell thumbnails on Fiverr, and probably in a few months you could probably make $1,000 and start again, right? So but you can't do the same thing if you lose $1 million. You can't just go on Fiverr and make $1 million. It's not that easy, right? So that's why, depending on your portfolio size, it's also how the strategy and the risk that you should be taking, right? So that's just, I know I kind of went on a rant about it, but that's more or less an idea of how I play it and how, I would recommend people to play it, but they also have to know the risk that comes with the higher reward. So if you're chasing 50 to 100x, you're also, potentially could go to zero as well. So that's when learning how to, really look into tokenomics and on the blockchain, whether or not something's a rug pull. You have to learn how to chase cheaper altcoins that are risky, meme coins, etc., etc. Those can all do it, but they also carry a way, way, way higher risk. So hope I answered those for you guys. Yeah, guys, make sure to smash that like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys are not subscribed yet. If you guys have any questions about anything that I'm talking about, anything that I've covered, or just anything overall in the market, let me know in the comments. I'll take a few minutes to answer some of your questions for you guys. So let me give you guys a few moments. Let me drink some water because I've been talking nonstop for about an hour at this point. So Sid said, well explained and agreed completely. Thanks. Do you have any mentorship programs or to join your group? So currently I have a Discord, which basically it's a signals Discord, basically is what it is, right? So let me just kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. So in the Discord group, let me see if you guys can see it. Hold on. So it's a signals group, right? Where basically I'm giving updates daily, right? Starting the week in the red, Hong Kong ETFs go live tomorrow. Fed interest rate decision Wednesday. Looking at liquidity is not much to the downside. So I'm constantly just kind of doing things like this. Then I also have signals, for leverage trading. So I have different signals for different things, right? So I have for leverage trading where I give an exact plan, where to enter, where to take profit, where to place your stop loss, the risk, and why I'm taking that type of trade, etc. Right? So I have all those. Then I also do some market reports overall here, on what I'm watching. For example, I did this one a week ago on April 22nd, where I was talking about the falling wedge breakout, change of character, the Fibonacci level. We're at $66,000, which was a big Fibonacci level of resistance, the trading range that we were in, the liquidity pools, the halving cycle that we went into phase 4, and how I was playing it, right? For a long-term portfolio, still dollar cost averaging. For short term, I like to ladder into positions during pullbacks. So things like that, right? Then I have the options signal group, which what this basically is we're selling options, right? This is something that I do weekly, basically collecting premiums while other people buy options, right? So I provide the liquidity to people looking to buy options, and our results speak for themselves, right? Let me pull up my sheet here on what we just did, what we've done so far in 2024. And you can see just in April, we just did a 23% return, right? Now, yes, this is a big number, but I generally don't focus on these numbers here because this is gonna depend on the amount of capital you have. But yes, I did about $30,000 this month. The month hasn't ended yet, but I'm pretty much closed all my trades for the month. So ended up at around 23.1%. So now 23% return, you can apply it to whatever your bankroll is and see what that would look like. So basically we've been averaging about 20.43% returns per month right now doing this, selling options, right? Which has had a total return right now of 109.5% so far in 2024 this year. So with my capital, I started with $78,000, currently at a profit about $85,000, which is 109%. I have 71 winning trades, 1 losing trade with a win rate of about 98.61%. Now you're probably asking, how in the world do you have a win rate of 98.6%? How have you only lost 1 trade in 2024? And that's a perfectly good question, which I've answered in my recent video here, how to make money with Bitcoin options, step-by-step guide. So I kind of break that down if you want to look further into how Bitcoin options work and how I'm doing this. I break it down there. I show you guys proof on exactly how I'm making all the money, etc., etc. So that's the other thing that I offer there in my Discord. And then the final thing is the algo, the algorithm signals, which is basically, where's my Discord? So I could pull it up here. Algo signals. So these are, and it's an algorithm that we created, which basically gives you trade signals. This is constantly scanning the market 24/7. And it gives you signals on, different altcoins, whether it's a short, the leverage to use, the position size, the entry, the targets, your stop loss. So similar to what I do with leverage trading, but this is an algorithm that does it. Now we took things a step further and we tied it to a trading bot. So you see here it says Cornix trading bot. Basically what you do here is that you connect your trading account to this trading bot, and the trading bot takes all these trades for you. It sets all these trades up automatically. So all you have to do is set up the bot, connect it, fund it, and this takes all the trades automatically. So April is actually a down month. It was our first down month with the trading bot because of the whiplashing that Bitcoin's been doing. But overall, before April, we were up about 40% year to date. So with the drawdown, we're probably up about 20%. I haven't really looked at it yet. So I'm going to do that at the end of this month now. But that's pretty much how that works. So that's pretty, if you want something offhand where you just kind of set and forget, that's the option there. So all that, the link to all this is in the description. If you guys are interested in any of that, you can obviously look into it. If not, then no problem. I try to provide as much value as possible, give out as much information as possible. But those that want to go that extra mile, that want some more help, or that just want to see what I'm doing personally day to day, those are the options that you guys have there. So yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. If not, we'll wrap things up. All right, guys, I don't see any other questions. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up because we're at the 1 hour mark anyways. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. If you guys are new here and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. And if you have any questions about anything, don't forget to leave a comment right under the video if you guys are watching this after the fact. Also, if you guys missed any of this, any of the beginning, maybe if you're just getting in, watch it from the beginning. We covered a lot of different things. We covered where we are in the Bitcoin halving cycle, why you need to kind of relax and chill out as the Bitcoin market starts to move. I know it's very boring right now. And we spoke about, the sell in May or go away, right? Should you sell in May and go away? So we broke that down on why I believe that you should not be looking to sell in May and going away for the rest of the year because of where we are in the Bitcoin halving cycle. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys missed any of that, make sure to go all the way back to the beginning and watch it from there. Sid said, last one to wrap, your favorite potential 5 to 10x coin. So I mean, I'm always thinking to preserve capital first, and I think the safest 5 to 10x is probably gonna be a major altcoin. Right, so I'd be looking at major coins, probably things like Solana, right? Because I think Ethereum could potentially hit 20,000, which would be over 5x. So Ethereum is a good one to build a foundation of your portfolio around. Then you could jump into things like Solana, because I think Solana could easily get up to around the $1,000 mark, which would almost be a 10x. It would be just under a 10x. XRP, man, it could do it, man, but yeah, man, I don't know. It could definitely do a 10x, but it just never seems to move. Last bull run, it didn't even reach previous all-time highs. So I'm not too big on XRP, but I do have a small bag. Dogecoin could potentially do a 10x, do a 5, at least a 5x for sure. Cardano, I think, is another one that could do a 5 to 10x. during the bull run. Shiba as well, you know. But again, meme coins you got to be a little careful with. Avalanche is one that I really like for easy 5 to 10x. 10x would put it at around $300. I think its all-time highs around 200. So I think that could definitely be one, and it's one of my favorite plays as well. Currently still at a very cheap price. I still like Polkadot, currently at $6, $6.50. I think it could really hit $50. I think it did in the future. I don't remember what its previous all-time high was, but I think that's a good one. Chainlink, definitely one that I really like. I think it could definitely go beyond $50 this bull run, and potentially hit 100, which is also close to a 10x. Near Protocol, also like Near Protocol, I think it could get to around beyond the $50 mark as well. Matic, I'm liking Matic less and less. I'm not gonna lie. I do think it does go up, but I don't know. Is it gonna get to $6, $7? Is it gonna get to $5? I don't know. Litecoin, probably one that eventually goes up as well, back to that $400 range. So that's, you know, potential more than over a 5x there. ICP, I think ICP could probably be between 50 to 100 as well, kind of similar to Chainlink. And yeah, so that's just kind of looking at the top 25. And then if you go further, there's obviously, you know, but the further down you go, the easier it is to get to 5 to 10x, but also the easier it is to lose money. So that's just something you got to keep in mind. But I also like Aptos, I like HBAR, I like Cosmos, Atom, Filecoin has a lot of AI in it as well. Render's an AI one of my favorite AI projects. Pepe is another decent meme coin that, you know, I don't endorse meme coins, but they're gonna go up, right? VeChain, ARB, Tau, another AI based crypto. Caspa is another one that I have. Another meme coin, Dog with Hat. Optimism is a new project, and it has that new token narrative, right? So that's one that I have in my portfolio as well. The Graph, if you like the AI narrative, that this is another AI. Injective I have as well. I like Injective. Theta, like Theta, Phantom, you know. So there's a lot. Fetch is another AI play. One of my favorite plays is Fetch. SEI is another new token narrative. Same thing with Celestia. Bonk, another meme coin play. So Floki, another meme coin play. Sui, another new coin narrative. Algo is a decent one that I don't mind as well. I have some of that. Jupiter, new coin narrative. So there's a lot, right? The further down you go, again, it's riskier, but they can potentially have bigger and bigger returns. This is Singularity Net, another AI play. Ondo is a real world assets play. So you know, as you go down, there's a lot, right? There's a lot. I have a lot of them in my portfolio, but a lot of them are just kind of just very small percentages of my portfolio, where it just, you know, in case it goes up, I throw some money at it type of thing. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. I know there's a lot of them. Hopefully it gives you some ideas on you know, where to go with altcoins that could potentially 5, 10, 20, 30x, right? Giannis says, thanks for the live. No problem. I will be live again at the end of the week, probably on Friday. Rivers, what's going on? The Asian Bitcoin ETF just raised the stakes. Yes, definitely. Can't wait to see how that ends up playing out this week. So I'm going to wrap things up, guys. We've been over an hour already, and I am starving. I'm not going to lie, guys. Video coming out on Wednesday, guys. Don't forget. Make sure to subscribe. Turn on notifications. Got a new video finally coming out this Wednesday. I'm trying to get back on the one video a week schedule, but it's been hard. I'm not going to lie. But I've been getting help creating some of the content for my other social medias, which has opened up some time for me to create long form videos again. So Wednesday, guys, should be done by Wednesday. It is a video on the optimal buy and hold strategy, and I give you the exact date on when to sell Bitcoin during this bull run. So See you guys there, and then see you guys on Friday in my next live stream. Have a good one, guys. Peace and love.